Hi there, good afternoon and welcome to our next session, part 3 of 100 most important VRC questions for Maharashtra CET. In case you've been practicing with our questions and there is a particular area within VRC that troubles you more, that bothers you more, do hit me up in the chat window down below and I would love to help you further with that particular area during my subsequent sessions. And before I proceed further, here is something that I thought I would want you to think over. Now, I welcome you to BYJU'S exam prep channel that is dedicated to your success in various B school exams. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. And if you want to get the notifications for all the sessions that we bring in, and we bring in a ton of sessions, do press the bell icon so that you start getting the information about every session and you don't miss out on anything in general. And this session anyway is pretty straightforward, right? We sit down, we go ahead, we work on the questions, but before that, quick review of the tentative dates, quick overview of what kind of scores we generally try and get, and the fact that we have launched a crash course that helps you reach that level by giving you tons and tons of really amazing features for a very attractive price of just 5,000 rupees. You'd find a pinned comment with a link that will take you straight away to the registration page. Some of you are asking for, do we have Maharashtra CET mocks available alone? So unfortunately not. We have a test series. I'll tell you a way around. We have a test series that includes tests for everything. And the validity for that will be until March, and that test series also includes Maharashtra CET tests, and that is priced at 999. So that's your way to unlock these mocks if you want to. So Harshit, Pratik, hi. Ark Prabha, how many classes you will take in paid batch for CET? So there are 55 live classes at least, along with some 50 live classes that were conducted for SNAP and NMAT but are relevant for Maharashtra CET. So we recorded those and they are also available, but the flavor is going to be that of the live class. So that's the number that we are targeting, which will customize this course for Maharashtra CET. Apart from that, of course, all the foundational lectures, etc. are also there. Okay. So with that, now let us dive into our overview of the exam. So we know the test duration, the total number of questions, we know the marking scheme, we know the different sections. Now these numbers, just take them with a pinch of salt. You know, this is last year Maharashtra CET did not leave a great taste in the mouth for me. I mean, there were different slots, and typically when there are different slots, you at least find a parity in terms of the structure of the question. Unfortunately, that was not the case. On top of that, they do not even normalize, so that becomes a little challenging, but then treat these as a rough ballpark. And within VARC, you have reading comprehension, you have grammar, you have vocab, you fill in the blanks, you have para jumbles. Grammar can also be tested within fill in the blanks, so be ready for that too. And coming specifically to this particular test, let's start. So first up, I'm going to give you an RC passage. Ready? So I'll take you through the passage, mostly paragraph by paragraph. And once you're done reading the information on a given slide, let me know so that I can take you over to the next one. So here you go. Passage 1, first slide for you. Okay, next slide coming up. Next. Okay, next slide coming. Okay, next. So this is the last paragraph. Okay, and with that, let us dive into our questions now. So here is your question number 1. Okay, so G's OP has shared his take, and the rest of you have also followed suit, and that's absolutely correct. Third, it is. This is not mentioned in the passage. Now, injuries to the back are mentioned, but the passage does not talk about that being the highest frequency injury, and that's where it gets wrong. And thus, D, only third, is going to be the best answer choice for us. And with that, let's dive into our next question. Here it is on the screen. I'll just vanish myself from the screen momentarily. There was a lot to fit onto this slide, so I had to kind of stretch it and pull it and all. So just answer this question and then I will appear again. Okay, so Vikram is the first one to give the answer. So I think this is relatively easy in the sense that the moment you read C and you look at this, good posture and movement can contribute to local mechanical stress and resulting in complaints. Good posture and movement, why that should reduce these instances. So this very clearly is false according to the passage, whereas D is true. So what are we being asked for? We are being asked for something that is not true. So considering that C is straight up false, that can help us rule out option C. And that, as in rule out, as in that can help in this particular case choose option C as our answer. So here is the next one, question number 3 on your screen. Vikram is on roll today, huh? Chaitali, what's your take on third? Harshad? Okay, so absolutely right, guys. B is the only one that falls within the scope of the passage. The rest of the things, although we know from GK common sense that they are relevant, but then since when do we answer RC questions on the basis of the common sense? We always answer them on the basis of the passage that is provided to us. Although I think subsequently when you start studying in the B school, when you look at organizational behavior, you would realize that there is this one factor that's even more potent, even more powerful. But more on that in the B school. Here is your question number 4. Oops, sorry. Yep, so what's our take? So we're getting answers. Hey, third is definitely wrong, no? Comfortable employees lead to lower production. We are not talking about us being comfortable in our lives and not putting in the effort. In the context of the passage, when you make them feel comfortable ergonomically, you increase their productivity, and therefore D is gone. C and D are gone. Now, if you look at second, does not follow the concept of one size fits all. It is not a disadvantage, it is an advantage. And therefore, this also goes. So you're left with A versus E, and I think I'll give it to you. It has to be A in this particular context because the costs are involved. So here is the next one. This. So I think in this particular question, it is easy to eliminate 3 answers. I mean, C and E everybody will eliminate, B most of you will eliminate. I think it is going to be A versus D. And between the two, you guys are absolutely spot on. D is better. So with that, let me take you over to the next one. So very often in my classes, I ask people to arrange all the answer choices in a series, in a sequence of negative to positive, because it is easier for us to figure out whether the author is being negative, neutral, or positive. So in this particular passage, would you call the author negative? And why am I asking this? Because if, we wouldn't call him negative, right? So because we cannot call him negative, B, D and E are gone. Indignant is, I mean, not exactly negative. Indignant is when you are angry due to some kind of perceived injustice. But there is no anger here, so D can still be eliminated. So that leaves you with A and C. Speculative is where you are guessing, where you don't have data, but then the author has very clearly did his homework, is referring to different places, is citing data wherever possible, and therefore A is also eliminated, and thus through that process of elimination we can comfortably arrive at C. Okay, so that's how we could have gone on to answer this. What is the meaning of grandiose? Okay, so you know that a single word can actually have multiple meanings, but grandiose is something that makes something appear more important or great. Grandiose can also mean something that is larger and contains more detail when necessary. In this context, I think that won't really work. Okay, and here is the last question based on the passage for you. Can you tell me the most suitable title for this particular passage? So I think in this particular case, considering that everything is, the options are a tad bit close, let's just look at the main idea. If you were to summarize, what does the passage do? There are some 6-7 paragraphs. There are almost 2 paragraphs that talk about the disadvantages, and then there are 5 odd that talk about the advantages. So going by that, I think if I compare A and B, B turns out to be better. Because there is a need for ergonomics in modern times, it will simply talk about why we need it. It won't give the disadvantages. Moreover, why modern times? Although the passage is talking about contemporary times, are we saying that it was not needed in the era gone by? So that again will be a bit of a concern. Ergonomic principles, it is just touched upon in the first paragraph. And when I said touched upon, there is no detail. On the other hand, if you are writing a passage talking about ergonomic principles, you would expect far more detail. So it's A and E are ruled out. C is, by the way we ruled out A, C can also be ruled out. That actually is tangential, it distorts the main idea. So it was basically B versus E. So is it ergonomics versus economics? It is broader and therefore can be ruled out. B works to our advantage. After all, cost is not the only disadvantage mentioned. Mind you, had cost been the only disadvantage mentioned, then we could have considered D a little more closely. So that takes care of your RC passage. Here is the next set of questions. These are going to be fill in the blanks, a sentence with 2 blanks, and you need to go ahead and choose the most appropriate expression for those blanks. Here is your question number 8. Oops, I think my screen is stuck. Okay, so in this particular case, my answer is going to be option C. When they say they cited, when you refer to something, it is called cited. When you see something, it is called cited with an S. So you don't want cited with an S, you want cited with a C because it's a case that is being referred to. And the problem with A is we're talking about the past tense, so cite. The present tense will not work. So A and B can be ruled out. Talked is an intransitive verb. So if you're using talk, you need to have a preposition instead of an object coming after. So D will be grammatically incorrect. E, you don't look the case, you can look at the case. Once again, grammatically incorrect, so eliminate it. And that is why we have opted for C. Yeah. So suggested, so when you look at a particular case and you study it, the case may indicate something. So you may not find a conclusive evidence for something, you may only find hints. That is, somehow these two things appear related. So suggested will absolutely work. No problems with that. I think showed could work, revealed could work, suggested could work, instantiated won't work, revoked will not work. So when it comes to second blank, A, B and C could all have worked. Next question for you on the screen. Here it is. Let me start. All right, so the new what? Partition could be, wing could be, new area could be, section, yes, dimension, no. We are not dealing with a Marvel universe, so E can definitely be ruled out. The new partition of the museum, section, wing of the museum. Yeah, when it comes to museums, I think wing and area and section are more suitable than partition, but let us check. The new partition of the museum had to be large enough to bring several. Now the partition is not going to bring, people are going to bring those, so bring won't work. A is ruled out. The new wing of the museum had to be large enough to exhibit several huge dinosaur skeletons. Yep, that can work. Area of the museum had to be large enough to arrange. The area won't arrange, people will arrange. It just needs to provide support. So this won't work. Enough. The new section of the museum had to be large enough to kept. Large enough to kept. Notice when you use to, then you use the first form of the verb, so that will not be grammatically correct. So D is also ruled out. Thus the best answer is option B. Okay. So here is the next one. Question number 10 on your screen, and the time starts now. Ooh. Those of you who are good at grammar, you guys are going to go through it fast. All right, so why did I talk about you guys are going to make it fast? So look at this. The few, qualitative, whatever in this book provide. So this few and this provide, both of these are very clear clues that what you need in the first blank is a plural noun. Why? Because few is used with countable nouns which are plural. Provide without that S tells you that the subject has to be plural. Now when I look at this alone, I can eliminate research, hypothesis and description because all the three are singular. So that leaves you with C and D. So the few qualitative studies in this book, the few qualitative pictures in this book provide fascinating insights, inevitable insights. Now pictures cannot be qualitative, studies can be, moreover inevitable insights. Insights are not in it. So I think C is definitely superior and therefore should be preferred over D. And even otherwise, I think, I have a brief power cut at my end. So once the light comes back, my screen will also, my image will also appear. But until then, I hope you know why we have opted for C over the other options. None of you have anyway chosen D, so we don't have to get into that. A, B and E can very easily be ruled out any which way. So let's dive into the next one now. Here is question number 11 on your screen and the clock is ticking. Oh yes, death is inevitable, yes. Okay, this, I don't know, I'm curious to see what you mark for this. I'd be quite curious to see that. Let's see what you choose for question number 11. And then I'll go ahead and talk. So let's just look at the sentence. Funding would dash from the state budget, or it could dash private contributions and insurance money from contractors. Funding would inflow from the state budget. Why inflow? Funding would flow. Funding can flow from the budget, not inflow. So that won't work. Funding would gather from the state budget. It doesn't make any sense. Funding, adjust, I'm sure all of you have ruled out. I don't even need to talk about it. Funding would go, but it could manage private. Funding cannot really manage. So I think the best answer is going to be D, which most of you have anyway chosen. So that saves me the hassle too. So that's about your question number 11. And here are the directions for the next 3 questions. So please read these directions carefully and then I'll elaborate upon them. This is a question type that we received in that we got in 2017-2018 in Maharashtra CET. So what are we going to get? In every question we will get 4 words. Some of these words some of these words are going to be either synonyms or antonyms. So 2 of these words are going to be either synonyms or antonyms. You need to find out that pair and choose that pair as your answer. I'm sure once you look at the question, it will probably make more sense. Here it is. So notice 4 words: supreme, hilarious, paramount, delicious, and then the 5 answer choices as usual. Go ahead and tell me what you think. All right, so if I were to choose one, I will go ahead and mark A as my answer. Oh, that's okay, Shreyansh. You can always revisit the previous set of questions. Okay, and all of you have done that too. So that's fantastic. So here is your next. Ooh. Cricketics. If you've given your answer to 13, then it was really fast. And not only fast, it was also correct. Compress and expand are antonyms, and therefore that is right. Here is the next one, the last one of this variety. Oh man, not a single wrong answer, huh? That's fantastic. It's so amazing to see. Good job. Damn, I think I should move over to use a 20-second timer or something for these questions in future. So C, it is absolutely. Evolve and develop are both synonyms. Okay, now in this particular exam, we also occasionally get some spelling based questions. So let me ask you a few of those as well. So here is your question number 15. You've been given 4 words. You need to figure out the words that are spelled correctly and mark them as your answer. I think ideally you would like to work with a process of elimination, and that process of elimination should help you arrive at the answer. So the correct answer here is D. Patriotism is definitely right. Deterrent is also correct, but then ambience should have been spelt with a C here, and irrelevance is supposed to have a double R. So one more R, and that's what was wrong with both of these. Okay, here is the next one. Go ahead and tell me what you think. All right, so for 16th, I think the answers are already pouring in, but let me weigh down, and it is going to be option B. Spectacles, glasses. That's correct. Entitled is correct. Sympathetic is spelt with an SY and not an SI, and propped will be double P. When something is propped up, it is supported, right? And with that, let me ask you one last spelling based question. Let's see what you choose. All right, so for question number 17, the correct answer is option B. Incorrigible is spelt with a double R. So it's spelt with a double R. Incorrigible basically means somebody who cannot be brought on the right track. It's a negative word. So when you call somebody so let's say an incorrigible liar, you keep on lying, you'd struggle to fix him. And ferocity is spelt with a C, not an S, and that's what was wrong in A and D. Right? So that's what I had brought for you today. If you enjoyed working with me, don't forget to like the video. And once again, we have a fabulous crash course that can enhance your probability of getting a great score in Maharashtra CET. You can check out the details of the program by clicking on the pinned comment, the link in the pinned comment. And if you need to reach out to us, we are wherever you are. Don't hesitate to get in touch. If you have any query, any question, any concern, we would love to contribute positively to your journey. So that's it from me today. Until I see you next, stay safe, stay focused, stay in touch. See you soon.